There's nothing to do when you're locked in a vacancy, so saith John Bender, played harshly and artfully by the indelible Judd Nelson. The Breakfast Club is a legendary piece of 80s cinema, sandwiched between 16 Candles and Weird Science, and serves as the crown jewel of the Brat Pack collection. Disagree? BOOHOO. John Hughes was a juggernaut of cinema and a triple threat behind the camera, serving as writer, director, producer, or any combination thereof. But where Hughes' talent really shined was on the page. His dialogue was poignant but timeless, natural yet finely crafted, and the characters he created weren't stymied by the tawdry archetypes that plagued 80s cinema, which afforded his films a timelessness to which few others of the era can compare. Aside from the prevalence of cell phones and what would constitute detention versus being arrested on school grounds in the 21st century, The Breakfast Club is just as fresh and relevant today as it was on that fateful morning in 1984. Principal Richard Vernon, who himself is sacrificing his entire Saturday to monitor detention, approaches this ragtag group of misfits, each a wrongdoer in their own way, broken up by the social hierarchy of high school, and assigns them a task to occupy their time. An essay, written to him and due before they leave, describing to him who they think they are, with specific instructions for the cunning Bender who would otherwise find a loophole to exploit. Although the film ends with only Brian writing an essay on behalf of the group, and while he's shown counting all 1,000 words, we only hear a select few as the film draws to a close, and the iconic Simple Minds anthem carries the kids home. Does Principal Vernon always have to monitor Saturday detention, or is he merely filling in? Did he really bribe Carl with the $50 he asked to keep his mouth shut? And Bender and the Princess? That would never last. Should have been the basket case. This is Dear Mr. Vernon, as read by Anthony Michael Hall and the cast of The Breakfast Club on Stories Telling Stories. Well, well, well. Here we are. I'd like to congratulate you for being on time.
Excuse me, sir? I think there's been a mistake. I know it's detention, but, I don't think I belong in here.
It is now 7:06. You have exactly 8 hours and 54 minutes to think about why you are here, to ponder the error of your ways. And you may not talk. You will not move from these seats. And you, Mr. Bender, will not sleep. All right, people, we're going to try something a little different today. We are going to write an essay of no less than 1,000 words describing to me who you think you are.
Is this a test?
And when I say essay, I mean essay. I do not mean a single word repeated 1,000 times. Is that clear, Mr. Bender?
Crystal.
Good. Maybe you'll learn a little something about yourself. Maybe you'll even decide whether or not you care to return.
You know, I can answer that right now, sir. That'd be a no. No from me, sir, because...
Sit down, Johnson.
Thank you, sir.
My office is right across that hall. Any monkey business is ill-advised. Any questions?
Yeah, I got a question. Does Barry Manilow know that you raid his wardrobe?
Give the answer to that question, Mr. Bender, next Saturday. Don't mess with the bull, young man. You'll get the horns.
Brian,
Yeah?
are you going to write your paper?
Yeah. Why?
Well, it's kind of a waste for all of us to write our paper, don't you think?
Oh, but that's what Mr. Vernon wants us to do.
True. But I think we'd all kind of say the same thing.
You just don't want to write your paper, right?
True. But you're the smartest, right?
Oh, well, I mean...
We trust you.
Yeah? All right. I'll do it.
Great.
Saturday, March 24th, 1984. Shermer High School, Shermer, Illinois, 60062. Dear Mr. Vernon, we accept the fact that we had to sacrifice a whole Saturday in detention for whatever it was we did wrong. What we did was wrong, but we think you're crazy to make us write an essay telling you who we think we are. What do you care? You see us as you want to see us, in the simplest terms and the most convenient definitions. You see us as a brain, an athlete, a basket case, a princess, and a criminal. Correct? That's the way we saw each other at 7 o'clock this morning. We were brainwashed. We all make mistakes, Mr. Vernon. We all made mistakes. To err is human, and yet our punishment was delivered equally, regardless of the varying egregiousness of our actions. Claire cut class to go shopping, one Saturday in detention. Bender pulled a false alarm, one Saturday in detention. Andrew physically assaulted Larry Lester, one Saturday in detention. Allison, I'm still not sure what she did, but she says she did nothing to be here, and yet she's here, the same as us. And I brought a gun to school to end my life over a failing grade in shop class. A flare gun that went off in my locker, damaging school property as well as my own. And yet here I am, with a single day in detention. In all honesty, I should be in jail, but yet I'm here. Do you enjoy this level of control, Mr. Vernon? Are you so removed from your own adolescent self that you've forgotten what it means to be one of us? Are you so disconnected that you willfully and dutifully sacrifice your own Saturdays to be here reigning over us like a warden in a criminal institution? I feel sorry for you, Mr. Vernon. Your life must be truly devastating to give it all up for a group of rogue children. To give up your typical suburban life, backyard barbecues, tailgating at football games, spending quality time with your family, if you've even got one. Maybe you don't. Maybe they see through you the way we do. Maybe you have nothing outside these walls, and in here, underneath your iron fist, is the only place you exist. Am I getting close, Mr. Vernon? Should I continue? You requested 1,000 words, and I'll be damned if you're not going to get every single one you've got coming to you. You think you know us, but you don't. Is that why you're asking? To feign interest? Pretending that you care? Some vain attempt to pretend that we're not just the sum of our parts, our parents' children, doomed to repeat the same mistakes, live the same lives, exist in the same space. You know nothing. But the truth is, neither did we. Until today. And for that, we owe you a great debt, Mr. Vernon. Today, I learned who I really am and what friendship can feel like. It's not just sharing cordial relationships with like-minded peers. It's the ability to bare your heart to a stranger, to lay yourself out, exposing your most vulnerable parts for the sake of honesty. It's truth, and it's stranger than fiction, to coin a phrase. That's my revelation, for simplicity's sake. In a greater sense, I experienced more education in the last 8 hours and 54 minutes locked in a vacancy than I have in my entire career as a high school student. What does that say about me? But more importantly, what does that say about this institution? We're nothing but test scores and numbers. Letters on a varsity jacket, crowns and dances at gaudy events, or pots stashed in a forbidden locker, and we're treated as such. But what about our social and mental health? What about the human endeavor? The chance to interact as peers, engaged as equals with valid opinions and ideas instead of stuffed into closed rooms as still bodies in a dead lecture? What about our emotional health? Why can't we have a bad day without ending up in detention? Where do we turn when we truly need help? Why is the only solution to send us home in the meantime and lock us up on the weekend? Why was I ready to end my own life just a few days ago over something as paltry as a failing grade, and now I feel more alive than I have in my entire life? Because I learned something today. We all did. We discovered a piece of ourselves that we didn't know existed. Because your system has kept it hidden from us. Stomped down like yesterday's garbage underneath a pile of standardized tests, sports trophies, galas, psychological examinations, and SAT scores. We weren't supposed to figure it out. But I did. We all did. And what we found out is shocking, and sure to come as a surprise to you, Mr. Vernon. We shouldn't tell you. We should let you hang on that last word, forever wondering what it was you were so desperate to know at 7 o'clock this morning. Will it change the course of history? No. Will it upend the educational system as we know it? No. And you likely don't even care. But we care even less. We are a generation of apathetic optimists, much more alike than we realized. More powerful together than apart. And that's why we wrote you a single letter. Because we are not individuals. We're in this together. And that's the end of it. To answer your question, the grand revelation at the end of a long day in social isolation. We didn't discover the cure to social norms. What we found out is that each of us is a brain and an athlete.
A basket case? Princess?
And a criminal.
Does that answer your question? Sincerely yours, The Breakfast Club. I'm Eric R. Hill, and this has been Stories Telling Stories, a pop culture podcast produced in association with Seeing Red Productions and STS Media Group, locked in a vacancy before a live studio audience at Milt House Studios in Milton, Vermont, casting around the globe to your frontal lobe wherever podcasts are found. Be sure to like us on Facebook for the latest updates. There's also a Patreon page where you can show your support and gain access to bonus extras and exclusive live streams for as little as $1 a month. And until next time, stay safe out there, stay healthy, be smart, don't go outdoors, and stay whimsical.